999ers risk their lives every day, keeping us safe.
My heart was racing, but you just do it because you're a police officer.
But all too often, they're abused and attacked.
I have been punched, kicked, spat at, sworn at. I think most of us have.
These personal attacks on police, firefighters and paramedics are at an all-time high.
I could feel the blood running through my shirt.
He grabbed me around the throat with both his hands,
Leaving them traumatised and unable to work.
It's then left me questioning, is this the job that I want to carry on with?
But while the violent criminals responsible are hunted down and brought to justice, our protectors fight to get well and back on the job.
I'm not going to get beaten by somebody decided they're going to try and hurt me.
Ready to face the next critical incident.
Stand still! Police routine, just show yourself!
Coming up, when he receives life-changing injuries in a terrifying road accident, a brave PC is determined to get back on his feet and return to work.
I decided to get the support to be better so I can go and do what I love.
When a man turns up at a police station claiming he has a bomb, firearms officers use their vital training to bring the situation to a safe conclusion.
Let's detain him, let's go. Put the bag down now! Put the bag down now!
And when officers are faced with a gunman, they risk everything to keep the public safe.
I knew there were children on that estate. I needed to stop this vehicle and do anything that I could in my power to stop it.
Get down!
For some officers who are injured in the line of duty, the repercussions can be life-changing.
When the car initially lost control, I honestly thought we was going to be okay. I thought we may hit the collision barrier, or we would go through the trees and come out the other side. I wasn't anticipating it to end how it did.
PC Ben Gates was drawn to the police to do something meaningful with his life.
I just wanted to do more. I wanted to have a career where I felt like I was making a difference and that I was going to get satisfaction from my work, not just kind of, the day-to-day routine. Within the roads policing unit, we deal with serious injury and fatal collisions. We deal a lot with drink drivers, drug drivers. 1 minute we could be dealing with a known insurance seizure. The next thing we could be doing life-saving medical care for somebody who's been involved in a horrendous collision.
Soon after joining the roads policing team, Ben developed a close relationship with his sergeant, Craig Butler.
Craig, he's a very outgoing guy, really kind of chatty, really supportive. We would literally deal with anything together, but overall as an officer, yeah, really good.
He's been described as a very excitable puppy because he wanted to go to everything. He's just non-stop a ball of energy. There was always good banter, we'd always go out, get proactive, but there would normally be something happen during a shift where we'd go, how have we ended up here?
But in June 2019, Ben and Craig were on a night shift together that would change everything.
It was a Monday evening. It was pitch black. It'd been raining all day. Country roads had been flooded and all of the major networks had lots of surface water on them.
In the torrential conditions, they were called out to assist with a collision on the A1, and Craig was at the wheel.
We left Stevenage police station and the rain was starting to come down quite bad at that point. Yes, we were on an immediate response, but I wasn't going to excess speed.
But as we joined the A1, and less than a mile from where we joined at Junction 7, our car aquaplaned. We wasn't expecting water to be there.
It was terrifying. Losing control at that point, it felt like forever. There was nothing I could do to regain control, and it was a split second. But at the time, the whole world went into slow motion. And it was just an horrendous feeling.
We hit the water at 93 miles an hour. I didn't even have time to process my thoughts when we saw the tree. It was all of a sudden of, yeah, this is going to happen.
I looked up at Ben at that point and could see blood all over his face, and he just turned around to me and said, "I've broke my leg. My leg's broken." And going, right, let's get Ben out. And then Ben looked at me and he just went, "I can't get my seatbelt undone, I can't get out."
Amazingly, earlier that night, Craig decided to leave the station with just the right tool for the job, a box cutter.
I'm not going to sit here and say this has turned me into a religious person, but that whole experience has made me think there is something that must go on. There must be some powers that be. That box cutter must have been in there for months on end, and to remember it that night and just thinking, I should probably take that, I'm probably going to need it at some point, and having it for that, and within an hour, probably less than that, going, that's the reason we managed to get Ben out of the seat. It's just unexplainable, really. I don't think either of us would be here now. I don't think either of us would have got out of that car.
As I've ungracefully cut my seatbelt, I've fallen onto Craig and dragged myself into the back of the car.
But suddenly, things take a turn for the worse.
As I'm reaching around to get the radio to let them know what's going on, Ben's just gone, "It's on fire, the car's on fire." To which I've looked at the front of the car and just seen the flames in the engine bay.
We could see the fire taking hold of the engine, and after the windscreen was broken, we could see and smell the black smoke filling the cab.
I've grabbed the radio again and just caught up going, the car's on fire, we're trapped, we can't get out, it's on fire. It was kind of at that point, I literally made my peace with whoever's up there that this was it, that we weren't getting out. This was going to be the end. You're never getting out of there.
Upon seeing the wreckage at the side of the road, worried members of the public were contacting the emergency services.
Police emergency?
Yeah, I've got one of your police cars, just lost it on A1, just off junction 7. He's in the edge on the side.
Okay, do you know if anyone's injured at all?
I don't know, is there any movement up there? I
think we're en route, actually.
Police emergency.
Hello, a police car's just crashed on the motorway. Police car had his sirens on, and he must have skidded in a puddle. I can see the sirens, he's still in the car.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm worried for them. Oh, I think there's a fire as well. I can see flames through the trees and smoke. Their car's on fire. Yeah, they're really big flames now.
There'll be police there soon, so don't worry, I'm afraid.
From there, for me, things get a little bit hazy. So I remember the window being smashed and open. You know, Craig's got a wife and child and said, look, you get yourself out, because I'm going to need you to help me exit the vehicle. My last memory from there is watching the fire come into the cab and me being conscious about smoke inhalation. My initial thoughts was this, for me, this is it. Time's up, really. So I think I was more looking at self-preservation than anything else.
As Ben fears the worst, other officers are making their way to him and Craig as quickly as possible. But assistance came from an unexpected source as two members of the public arrive on the scene to help.
As I've kind of pushed myself out through the window, I've sat in the car, and at the time, I thought it was an explosion or something, because I just remember being thrown back at great force. But as I was going back, it was two gentlemen who've just come out of nowhere, absolute massive lads, who've just literally grabbed me and thrown me towards the carriageway, and I've screamed at them, my colleague's in there, they get him. And they went, we know, we're going to get him. I've then kind of gone into the road and gone to take a few steps, feeling everything was all right, and then just ended up collapsing in the middle of the carriageway because my ankle was just absolutely shattered. I then see the car fully go up, and I hear the bang of a couple of the tyres go. And I literally remember looking around and going, where's Ben? Where's Ben? And just saw the two chaps with him on the hard shoulder going, right, Ben's there.
The next thing I know, I'm being dragged away from the car by 2 unknown guys, and my leg was, broken and the car was in flames. And then I was taken onto the road, and I was left on the road for the paramedics to deal with me.
The next I remember is the team just started to arrive in drives, and I was laying on the floor, and we're fine, we're out.
Ben and Craig were rushed to hospital. Craig's ankle is broken, but Ben is in worse shape, and he is taken into critical care.
I didn't know how serious my ankle injury was. I just thought, oh, it'll be a break, it'll be fine. There wasn't really too much of knowing how seriously either I or Ben was injured.
Initial injuries, we thought it was just a double break to my lower right leg. From the scans and x-rayed, that transpired to be 5 fractures within my lower leg. I had 12 broken ribs, cracked sternum, shattered my L5 vertebrae, and a chipped tooth, of all things. Craig highlighted to me that he thought he'd lost a tooth. He hadn't realised that he'd actually spat out mine. So that gave us a moment to reflect and laugh. We both knew the severity of my injuries. We knew, obviously, with his fracture as well, that he was going to have a lot of work to do in terms of rehabilitation, but we just dealt with things as we normally would.
Later, Ben's police career hangs in the balance as he faces the long road to recovery.
The main thing to get me through is going to be my family. For now, we're going to carry on doing what we know best and, supporting each other.
In the year ending March 2021, there were just over 18,000 police firearms operations in England and Wales, and there were around 6,500 armed officers.
Get down the floor! Put that down! Put it down! Put it down! Put it down! Understand? He's readying it. He's readying it.
Every police force in the UK has a firearms unit, with members having completed an initial firearms course to become authorised firearms officers.
Do you understand? Put it down! You're going to be shot! Put it down! We do not want to shoot you! Put it down now! Put it down! Put it down! Put it down! Can you give us the... Put it...
Che Donald is the National Vice Chair for the Police Federation of England and Wales. He's been the organisation's lead for taser, firearms and police officer mental health and well-being since 2014.
It takes a special breed to become a firearms officer. It's extremely disciplined. Firearms work is highly demanding, a high-pressure environment. You are training all the time. You're training on your processes, your procedures, your tactics. And when we look at the number of times we've actually discharged firearms over the years, I mean, the figures for last year, 4 discharges in a 12-month period. Well, it probably goes to show that we are the best trained and the most restrained in relation to use of firearms. Because of their training, you want to deploy firearms officers where there is a large degree of risk to the public, and the incident is such that it ticks all the boxes in relation to threat, harm, and risk.
In May 2021, firearms officers in Northamptonshire were called to an extremely serious incident. A man had called 999 to say he'd taken a bomb to Western Favell police station.
Yeah, my name
Hello,
is...
caller. What's the
I've got a bomb in
emergency?
my bag, and I'm going to Western Favell police station with a bomb.
Okay, and so
I've got a
what
bomb.
have you got in your bag?
A bomb. B-O-M-B. A bomb. I'm going to
Okay,
Western
where
Favell
are
police station
you?
right now.
Okay,
Thank
I'll
you.
let the officers know then,
Thank you.
Jay. All right, thank you. All right, bye-bye.
When the armed officer arrived, They found the man wearing a rucksack outside the police station.
Armed police, drop that bag now. Drop the bag, do it now. Buddy, drop the bag. Drop the bag, mate, and we can talk to you.
So the approach is obviously taken from a safe distance. You have to query what safe is. You know, you'd like to be as far away so that if there was a device and it was detonated, you wouldn't be injured in that process. But you also need to be at a distance where you can give clear commands and instructions and you can hear what the person is saying back to you. So they are clearly putting themselves at risk just by arriving and being able to communicate from that distance.
What's in the bag? A bomb. And you can put the bag down, come and get the cigarette, and then you can go back to the corner. All right? All right, I've got the cigarette. Yeah, you got the cigarette? I've got the cigarette. Right, we'll put it on this corner here. Oh, that's all right. And then we'll move back. All right, we'll put it here for you.
People might think, why are police offering him a cigarette? It's small wins. It's the ability to build small levels of trust. It's the ability to let the person that they are dealing with see that you're no different to them. And it also allowed the opportunity for the person they were dealing with to move. So they weren't fixed and stationary in their position. If they wanted that cigarette, they had to move from their current position to get that cigarette.
There's a cigarette in there, mate, yeah? Have you got a lighter or not? There's a lighter in there, OK? Right, then we'll move back. You can have that, but put the bag down before you come and get it, all right?
They can observe that his hand has come from the rucksack. I think the thing that's going through their mind is all the time the hand is in the rucksack, what is it connected to? Is it connected to a switch, which would activate the device? Is it a dead man switch, in which case that you couldn't physically take your finger off it because it would detonate. When the hands come out the rucksack, I think that's provided the window, the small window of opportunity to act.
OK, hands out the bag. Let's detain him. Let's detain him now. Let's detain him. Let's go. Put the bag down now. Put the bag down now. Put the bag down now. Put it down. Put it down. Get the bag off him. Get the bag off him. Right. Get him on the floor. Lay on your front.
What they want to do is remove the possibility of the individual going back to the rucksack, getting the rucksack away from the individual, having the ability to make a determination then and there if the rucksack does contain a viable device, and bring it to a conclusion rapidly. And that's what they do.
The bag was later found to just contain clothes. In Northampton Crown Court, the offender was convicted of making a bomb threat and one count of making a call conveying false information under the Malicious Communications Act, 1988. He was jailed for 3 years.
The outcome is one everyone can be proud of. Yes, the offender has been jailed off the back of that, but he's also alive. Most people thinking about how you deal with that would probably result in that individual being shot, rather than having an outcome where he still has his life.
Still to come. Having received substantial injuries in a motorway crash, PC Ben Gates is finally on the road to recovery.
We come here with lots of other officers, we can share our experiences. It was just fantastic.
And a specialist police task force faces the most intense incident of their career.
After I knew my colleagues were OK, I'd realised just what sort of incident we'd been involved in.
PC Ben Gates and Sergeant Craig Butler's police car had careered off the road at high speed, smashing into a tree when the car caught fire and they were trapped inside.
This was it. We weren't getting out.
Time's up, really. So I think I was more looking at self-preservation.
After being rescued by passing members of the public, Craig has a broken ankle, but Ben's injuries are severe.
5 fractures within my lower leg, 12 broken ribs, cracked sternum, shattered my L5 vertebrae, and a chipped tooth.
Just want to say a massive thank you for everyone's efforts yesterday. Do really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll be back with you as soon as possible.
After a week in hospital, Ben finally went home, but he now had to deal with a whole new reality.
Just trying to do everyday tasks was extremely difficult. I couldn't help with any of the chores around the house, so all of that started to weigh down, and a lot of that kind of pressure and responsibility was put on Lucy.
Ben had to lean on his wife Lucy for the simplest of tasks.
It was quite hard over the next few months because I worked full-time from home whilst caring for Ben. So having to every morning help him get out of bed, to go to the bathroom, I had to help him into the shower. So having the responsibility of actually full-time care was quite daunting because I was quite nervous that I wasn't going to do a good job. So you were in so much pain and you had so many injuries. I was just worried I was going to break you even more if I didn't get you out of bed properly. But I know.
There's a lot of responsibility.
And also trying to mentally support somebody that loves their job and just wants to go back to it, that was quite tough because I kind of had to be a bit more of the realistic one and be like, you need to walk before you can run.
Literally had to learn to walk.
Yeah.
The only way I can describe trying to get back on to 2 feet would be like Bambi on ice. I have quite long legs anyway, so it was quite tricky.
Ben had undergone surgery within days of the accident.
I had some metal framework put in my lower back that was attached to my pelvis and some of my vertebrae to support the damaged one. I also had a metal rod inserted in my lower right leg, which goes from my knee to my ankle and was secured in place with screws.
18 months later, the metalwork was removed from his back, and after another 6 months, some of the screws were removed from his leg.
So my milestones we set at was just walking independently. That was a key one. Driving, running was another milestone, so I can improve my fitness, work on my cardio exercises as well. And then the biggest milestone was feeling ready and able to go frontline.
Crucial to meeting these milestones was the Police Rehabilitation Centre at Flint House in Oxfordshire. For over 30 years, the staff have been helping injured officers get back to work.
So Flint House is a charity, and what we offer is rehabilitation for police officers for physical and mental health. Police officers come here with a variety of injuries. We treat anything and everything. The facilities at Flint House are fantastic. We've got a hydrotherapy pool, we've got a swimming pool, we've got 2 rooms where we do different classes, we've got a fantastic gym. We haven't got magic wands, but we've got the time to give patients, and the patients have got time to give themselves to get better. The role of a police officer is to help and support and protect us, and our role is to help and support and protect the police officer.
Ben is one of around 3,000 officers who receive treatment at Flint House each year.
I first came here a year after my collision, and it was just fantastic. And it's intense physio as well. We come here with lots of other officers, we can share our experiences, both physically and psychologically, and we can just be there to support each other.
When Ben was here for his 2-week stay, we tended to do a bit of a combination between hands-on therapy and then also some rehabilitation work in the gym. So he would be doing his classes with the rehab therapists alongside his physiotherapy while he was here. really close. Nearly had it. Ben has been a really rewarding person to work with because he was really clear with the things that he wanted to achieve and was willing to put in the hard work to do those as well. So it's been a really good progress from where he was initially.
But it wasn't just the physical problems that Ben had to overcome. He hadn't anticipated the impact on his mental health.
Initially, I didn't think there was any kind of issues psychologically. But as time went on and, like I said, the severity of what had happened started to set in, and I realised that I could have very easily died in the back of that car. The psychological impacts started to creep out of the woodworks. So we didn't really notice the signs initially that I was suffering with PTSD. And then because I'd spent so much time off of my feet and not doing the job that I love or being able to go out and do the hobbies that I enjoy, depression started to creep in as well. So I decided that the best way to tackle this is to just talk about it. And for me, that was probably one of the greatest things that I done. You know, to find that inner confidence and strength to say, I'm not well psychologically, to get the support to be better so I can go and do what I love.
At the same time, Craig was also having difficulties coming to terms with what happened.
The first few months couldn't go back to work physically because of my ankle. And then I was diagnosed with PTSD, depression, anxiety. I threw my toys out of the pram and went, that's it, I'm done, I'm never going back. I'm going to get myself sorted, let's find another job, and started looking around at other jobs and thought, what am I going to do? And then it all boiled down to, there's nothing I want to do what I do. I want to go back, I want to be a police officer. I've done it for 15 years, I love this job.
Just over 6 months later, Craig was able to resume his frontline duties. But when Ben went back to work, he soon began to struggle.
I recently returned to frontline policing. I joined my team again, but we identified that there was more physical rehabilitation to do, which I've carried on with. We've undergone more psychological treatment, but as time goes on, it's been kind of clear that it's not going to be possible. So that's me done. So they've put me forward for medical retirement.
We know that he's not going to be the exact same person that he was before he had his injury. And I think a big part of his rehabilitation is him coming to terms with how his life may have changed. Things have had to adapt along the way, and it will be an ongoing process for a number of years. So it's about keeping now the motivation to keep moving forwards.
The main things that get me through is going to be my family. We are so uncertain of what the future holds, and at the moment I think we're so gripped by what we're going through. We haven't given the future much thought because we're hoping I can carry on and do something within the force. So for now we're going to carry on doing what we know best, you know, supporting each other and just pushing forward. And we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
The incident may have pressed pause on Ben's career in the police, but it strengthened the bond between him and Craig.
I'm glad that it was Craig that was with me on that night, just because of the way we are. We're more now like brothers than friends. You know, the way that he's been able to support me, and I hope that I've supported him as much as I could. I'm just glad it's him because we've gone through all of it together. It's brought us closer, it's brought our families closer, and we've just been such great support for each other. In so many situations, these things don't have a happy ending. So, yeah, looking back on it and thinking what could have been makes me realise how lucky we are now.
And as for the two men who rescued Ben and Craig from the burning wreckage of their police car, They were presented with a Police Public Bravery Award for their heroic actions.
Oh, they saved their lives, didn't they?
They went beyond what some police officers would have done to help someone else. So for members of the public who don't have the duty that we do to protect people, to step up, it's kind of a humbling feeling. So for us to finally meet them and sign to say, cheers lads, and have that kind of moment of just saying, thank you, everything that I've got is because of you.
North Manchester is synonymous with gangs. Since the early 1980s, drug crime has expanded rapidly in the city. Gangs emerged and violence seeped onto the streets. It's an area PC Jessica Hamblett knows well.
North Manchester in general is a very deprived area. Our area does have the biggest crime and the most serious and violent crime. We have a lot of knife crime, a lot of offences like carjackings, robberies, burglaries, quite a lot every day. These lads won't hesitate in dragging you out of a vehicle with the use of a weapon. This obviously for members of the public is frightening, so we've been put in this area to try and tackle it, get to grips with it, and obviously just make the community a safer place.
Jess and her colleagues are part of a special task force called Operation Hamus, which was set up to tackle specific gang crime in the city.
It was a sort of a drugs gang rivalry dispute which involved every day the use of firearms where people were getting shot and members of the public would be coming in the crossfire.
PC Rick Hayes is one of the officers on the team.
Operation Hamus was set up in the hope to try and disrupt the activities of these organised crime groups, but mainly to try and prevent the number of firearms discharges and serious incidents that were putting members of the public at risk.
There's 5 of us in total that work in the unit that are based on the street. We do lots of stop searches, lots of things like pulling vehicles over and targeting those specific people that are causing harm to the community. We walk around in plain clothes and we drive around in plain vehicles because it just hides our presence a little bit more. You're able to see a lot more people commit crime in front of you without necessarily knowing that police are there watching them.
Most people know who we are. They get to know our cars and they get to know our faces, but it just gives us that extra few seconds, sometimes the element of surprise so we can get in to speak to people.
One afternoon in March 2021, Jess, Rick and their colleague were on patrol when the element of surprise became an understatement.
It was just a normal day, 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. We'd been out the full day and we were just about to head back to the station to do some updates. It was then when we were driving around the area, I spotted a known drug user in an alleyway, waiting for drugs to be served. And it was then just as we turned the corner towards the drug user that was stood in the ginnel that we heard a loud bang.
We're both same time, well, that was a gunshot. And almost as we said it, a man came running out of a dark getaway towards us, clutching a black bin bag towards his chest. And it was a case of, we need to do something, we need to act. The area is quite busy with children playing, so we needed to try and intercept this gentleman and deal with it.
Jess and Rick's colleague has turned on his body camera.
We've pulled alongside him. I was sat in the rear seat and I've put my window down and I've told him that he needs to stay where he is and we need to speak to him immediately.
He's quickly realised that we're police. He's looked at us and he's tried to run. He's ran onto a street where there's a waiting car parked up with 2 other occupants inside it.
He's ran to the back of the car and he's tried to get into the back seat. He's done it in such a struggle that he's ripped the back door handle in his hand completely off the vehicle.
All three officers jump out of the police car to approach the suspect and the awaiting car.
Our police vehicle had blocked the middle of the road, so the only way they could go was to drive onto the pavement. The car was accelerating and trying to force its way down the pavement, crashing into parked vehicles and crashing into houses because it was that narrow.
Get down!
He's then ran away from the vehicle because he must have just given up, knowing that he couldn't get in the car and knowing that police were there and he needed to get away.
While Jess and Rick are trying to stop the getaway car, their colleague is in pursuit.
Behind the Chinese, I've got a male with a firearm making off.
Due to the pursuing officer's intelligence work, we have hidden his identity.
I decided to chase after the male because he posed a significant threat to the public. I had no idea what his intention was with that firearm. I gave chase, followed him at a distance just to remain safe.
Meanwhile, Jess and Rick are still trying to apprehend the men in the getaway car.
We didn't know where the firearm was. At that point, deep down, I thought the firearm had been thrown through the window. So at any point, I was expecting a possible gunshot to come at me through the window. It's hard because you're trying to risk assess, but at the same time, you're trying to put the public first and safeguard the public, safeguard each other. I knew there were children on that estate. There was children walking home with parents from school. It was 3:30, 4 o'clock. I needed to stop this vehicle and do anything that I could in my power to stop it. So I tried everything.
I've drawn my baton, I've tried to hit the window of the car, I've tried to force the window.
We've pulled our tasers out of the holsters and we've activated the red dots through the windows. And it's then when they've driven the car at us in an attempt to run us over and get away.
They managed to force their way out of this gap and make good their escape in the vehicle.
So it's then when we've pressed our emergency button and I've asked for immediate assistance from firearms in the area.
The main concern now was for their colleague, who was still chasing after the suspect, and he may still be armed. Within moments, their colleague spots the suspect just ahead of him.
Kept my distance because I couldn't see what he had in his hands at that time.
Stay there! Get on the floor!
At this point, the getaway car speeds past, with the wheels barely intact after smashing its way out of the street. But the officer continues to chase the suspected gunman.
This one! Get down!
I can see them running across some grassland. At this point, I've drawn my taser and I've run in order to cut the male off that was being chased.
Get down! Get down!
I was able to establish that whatever was in his hands had now been discarded, so I decided to approach him and make a safe arrest.
I'm very fast! I'm not doing nothing! I'm not doing nothing! Right, we need to reserve it. I'm not doing nothing!
Although the man is detained, there's still no sign of the gun.
He's thrown it while he's been running, or it's back at the scene where he's discharged it.
He's the one who's fired it.
There was children everywhere, there was members of the public, there was known criminals in the area that was also starting to crowd around, and I knew we needed to find that firearm as quickly as possible.
Jess! 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 I want to have a look for it this way.
We were all worried, we were all working on adrenaline.
As firearms units arrive on the scene, the officer who gave chase retraces his steps to hunt for the weapon. Meanwhile, Rick heads back to the spot where the suspect had attempted to jump into the getaway car.
I've then started to look around the area, and as I've looked under a car, I could see a plastic bag. I've looked into the plastic bag, and then I've seen a black handgun in the bag. It looked like a Glock pistol, which is similar to what the police use.
ARBs were aware and have attacked at the scene with a firearm. Authority.
We've recovered a Glock 17. Firearm in a bag. It's a Glock, mate. It's just under the wheel there.
Thank you, 496.
It was still loaded. Firearms have arrived within seconds, and then a scene's been put on around that firearm, and he's been arrested subsequently for possession of that firearm.
The weapon we seized was a Rete firearm, which is a converted blank firing weapon. Rete firearms are very dangerous. They have the propensity to seriously injure and kill, as any other firearm would. It's just that they've been converted from a blank firer to a viable firearm, so they still is deadly.
After I knew my colleagues were OK, we'd got him and we'd got the firearm, it was then when I'd realised just what sort of incident we'd been involved in. It could have gone terribly wrong.
It's probably the most intense experience I've had in the police so far. There was obviously a threat of a firearm, the adrenaline hit of chasing him on foot, knowing what threat he posed.
We're trained to deal with things like this. Normally, if firearms are involved, that we have a stay safe policy where we will try and, keep out of view until armed support can get there. But as much as we try and reduce risk, sometimes we have to react to what's in front of us. And that particular point, we couldn't back off. It was unfolded so fast in front of us. I say there was kids there. We had to deal with it.
It was intense. But if I'm honest, I'd do the same again tomorrow. We feel grateful that none of us were injured. It can be dangerous out here on the street, but it's what you join to do.
The perpetrator was jailed for 5 years at Manchester Crown Court after pleading guilty to possession of a firearm. The getaway driver was traced via the vehicle and arrested the following day. He was handed 8 months imprisonment, suspended for 2 years, 8 days of rehabilitation activity requirements, and 80 hours unpaid work. He was also banned from driving for 12 months. The passengers in the car were not charged. With one more gun off the streets, it's another success to add to the achievements of Operation Hamus.
When we recover a firearm, it has a brilliant impact on the public confidence in us. It shows us that we're doing our job, and every firearm we take off the street is a massive benefit to the public. It's one less firearm out there that can cause potential harm to others. We have these guns for one reason, that's to cause fear of violence or to harm somebody. So each one we take off the street is a big bonus for us as a police force.
As a result of our work, we've arrested over 90 gang members. All of them are either on bail, in custody, or in prison serving custodial sentences. We'll never stop. We will always be on the case, and we'll always try and prevent serious crime across Manchester.